Welbeck. Can he go all the way here? Still Nasri. Looks for Xavi.
Hello and welcome to ArsenPool, the world's first Liverpool and Arsenal based podcast, and you are joined by Matthew Bluefield and Michael Cotter to discuss all matters Liverpool and Arsenal. And when I say all matters, there's a fucking lot we've got to get through.
I know, yeah.
It has been probably about 4 months since the last cast, maybe 5.
I'm going to say April.
Well, it would have been, yeah, because on our last podcast, Liverpool were champions.
Yeah, they were going to win the league, yeah. Didn't work out.
How have you been, Matt?
Yeah, been alright. Not too bad. Good summer. Very upsetting end to the season, but I'm sure we'll get into that.
Yeah. You've grown a beard.
I've grown a bit of a beard, yeah.
Half beard.
Half a beard. Holiday beard. When you have holiday, you got a beard, don't you?
Well, you're not on holiday.
Well, I'm on holiday next week.
Oh, nice.
Preparation.
Pre-holiday
Pre-planned holiday beard.
Right, let's get down to business. What we're going to do first is we're going to do a brief recap of a sort of end of season overview from last season each, and then we will get into the summer's activities. Oh God, what are we going to do? There's no David Moyes section. It was never a David Moyes section. It was just the joke of Manchester United.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Well, so now we've got to come up with
some. Going well at the beginning. I don't mind you guys. Well, I think he's. I hate Man United. So
we'll just talk about Man United at the end.
Yeah, right.
We're gonna
unless they start getting good.
There's a certain reason why we'll have to.
Yeah.
Don't you Welbeck. Right. Okay. You go first then. Sum up the end of Liverpool's season to 2013-2014.
At the end of the day, and this is going to sound like me worming out this one. If someone said you're going to finish second at the beginning of the year, we'd snap your hand off.
Oh, I believe you said in the last podcast
that
if we don't win the league, I'm going to kill myself.
I did say
Why
that.
are you still here?
But when we didn't win the league, there was what saved my life perhaps was the one I was on a holiday in Cyprus when we watched them
when it all fell apart.
And two. Tragically or not tragically, I don't know how you'd view this, but I had a bet on Man City to win the league and won £750. So
that sounds...
Cyprus and Man City, it kind of did swing it back into my favour.
Well, I'd like to know what our 6 listeners think of that. Is that a good fan or a bad fan? Comment.
I'm hedging my bets, but to be honest, play brilliant football. I thought we were going to win the league because, and the way I rationalised it was, if I can't say it then, I would never be able to say it. But if I'm honest with myself, I still had an inkling that the Chelsea game would be a hiccup, and that's why I put money on it because all it would take us to lose the league was for us to lose against Chelsea.
You did say if we beat Chelsea, you didn't say. You said we're very close to winning, but we need to beat Chelsea to win the league.
Yeah, and we didn't do so.
Yeah, but you still could have won it after that.
Yeah, Steve. Let's not talk about Sir Stevie Slip because he's not been the same since.
Has he not?
No. Useless.
Just mental break.
Get him out. No, I'm joking.
Didn't he slip again in the World Cup?
Everyone slipped in the World Cup, but
metaphorical slip.
At the end of the day, and to be honest, it wasn't that bad. Like everyone was talking about the Crystal Palace game when we went 3-0 up and lost 3-0 and drew 3-0. Everyone's talking about that as the moment we lost title. The title was already lost. City weren't going to drop any points, and they didn't drop any points. Difficult to take, but at the end of the day. Made up that we're in the Champions League.
You gave it a good go.
Made up we're in the Champions League, and I think we were a much better team for last season, and it just goes to show that I think teams can break into the top 4 because we've been out it for a long time. So I think the next three to 5 years.
5 years and 500 million later, and you're back.
Exactly, 5 years,
3 managers,
2 billion, 3 managers. Yeah.
And like that, you're back.
Like that. Like magic.
And welcome back.
Could be anyone.
Welcome back to the CL.
Cheers.
You've been rewarded with a nice fixture against Real Madrid.
I know. We'll do alright.
No, it's exciting. That's what you're in the Champions League for, to play those big boys.
I don't want to
isn't it?
dwell on last season too much. It's over. Done. Let's mind it done.
Player of the year
My player of the year.
for last year.
Luis Suarez.
Most improved.
Most improved. Sterling. He was quality last year. From the year before, I thought people were going on about him, and I just thought he didn't have much in his locker, but he actually produced quite well last year.
Favourite match?
Favourite match? Man City. 3-2.
Was it 3-2?
3-2, yeah.
3-2, yeah, it was. Wasn't it?
Coutinho!
Oh yeah, 2-2, then 3-2.
Yeah, brilliant.
Loser of the year
What was in
for Liverpool.
player?
Yeah. Someone who annoyed you.
Well, no, I'd say Daniel Egger was a loser last year because
Okay.
he didn't. He that was the end of him. He's off the Brøndby now. I hate Glenn Johnson, but so does everyone. He's useless.
He's still your first choice right back.
No, not anymore, mate. We got
Who's
Javier Manquillo.
Oh yeah, Manquillo.
Well,
Loan.
on loan for 2 years. Why are people having 2 years loans these days?
FFP.
Yeah,
So everyone's getting around
can't
it.
be bothered to buy anyone.
It
So
was
we're loaning for 2
predicted. It
years.
was predicted a year ago that these loans would start taking over for FFP reasons.
Anyway, so you got a brighter end to.
Sum
last
up
year.
Arsenal season. Well, it all capitulated by the time we'd had our last podcast. Anyway, we were at that point fighting for fourth, which we got. Woohoo! Fourth place trophy, and we sort of wrapped it up with a few games to spare. That isn't anything to celebrate, though. Let's face it. The fourth place trophy again. It's ours all the time, and no one really. It's the one trophy that no one wants because it's not a real trophy. And then we have the FA Cup, which was a great day out. And I'm struggling. Already the optimism has been drained out of me from the summer, but obviously this is the recap. But other than a good day out, I'm not sure I've got a lot more to say about it, to be honest. It's nice to have the trophy drought over, but I'm not convinced that the weight of having that long period without trophies is actually as significant as it was made out to be. I think probably the main problem is having an incompetent moron in charge of the team is probably what's holding us back, and it's taken me another transfer window to realise that. So there you go. It was a nice end to the season, and especially it was just one of those. It's a standalone game. It was against Hull City. We managed to go 2-0 down inside 8 minutes, and then we came back and beat them 3-2. So it was just a great experience, and it's so nice to watch everyone lifting a trophy and that feel-good factor that was around the club, which suddenly already feels a long time ago already. The season was, on the whole, not terrible. It had so much promise. It was one of the. You're just constantly looking for an opportunity where Wenger and Arsenal can prove all of the doubters and the sceptics wrong. Everyone said up to Christmas, when you start playing the big boys in a row, you'll completely crumble. And lo and behold, they were correct. We completely crumbled. We didn't fool anyone. We could blame it on injuries if we want, but at the end of the day, it was predicted all along, and we went and we didn't let anybody down in that department. So fourth place, Champions League. We did improve last year on the season before, and so we need to hopefully kick on again this year.
Yeah, good summary. Yeah, so your player of the year?
Aaron Ramsey.
Yeah.
Despite his 3-month absence.
He did enough at the beginning of the season, didn't he?
He did enough, and then he did enough to come back, and he won the FA Cup for us. So Aaron Ramsey, without doubt.
Most improved. Diaby.
Diaby didn't play. That's a really tough one. Giroud, I guess.
Because he was so awful.
Even though it's still pretty bad.
But no one else.
But he did, in the first half of the season, he did look like a new player with a new lease of life, and then he slowly fell apart because Arsene Wenger decided not to have any backup whatsoever for him, considering Theo Walcott got injured in January, and by February time, Giroud looked like he was running through treacle, and you would if you played 50 games in a season, and he looked dejected. So I'm going to go with Giroud.
Right, best game?
No, any one of either the Tottenham wins was good fun. There's a few really. There's the Tottenham 2-0 third round of the FA Cup. That was really nice. I'm not going to say that we beat them at their place, but they were better than us. We beat them at our place, but they were probably better than us. The 2-0 against Liverpool was a very good game, but I'm going to just have to go with the FA Cup because it was just it was an all-round emotional roller coaster.
Right, and worst player. Can't be Giroud as well.
Can it be Giroud at the same time? There were so many disappointments last year. I don't know. Loser. I don't know if he's the worst player, but loser of the year is going to be Lucas Podolski because he just looks. He's just been a complete and utter waste of time, really. You know, considering that he looked, half a decent player in his first season with us, he just doesn't seem to look that interested.
No.
He seems to enjoy the jokes, behind the scenes, but not necessarily getting out on the field. The way you see him on Twitter and stuff, and the way he celebrates about the World Cup and then the FA Cup and things. You didn't contribute to either of those things, and he's like, "Come on, the Gunners this week," and you think, just be quiet. You're not going to play. You're not going to play and it's not because we've got so many better players than you. It's because you don't assert yourself correctly. So I'm going to go with loser of the year, Lucas Podolski.
Right. Well,
Summary's done.
Summed up last year. So.
Right, let's go through.
What would you do? Transfers?
We'll do the summer activity and how we can judge each club's summer activity, and then we'll do predictions for the season.
Okay, right. I'll go first. So summer activity.
Who have you got in? 10 players?
10 players.
Let's go for
it. Balotelli, Manquillo, Alberto Moreno, Emre Can, Origi, but he loaned him back out.
What's the centre half called?
Lovren,
Southampton, Lovren,
Lambert,
Lallana,
and Lallana, the 3 L's from Southampton.
Yeah. Can't even remember.
Markovic, and that's 9. I think it's just 9.
I don't know.
Was there another? A left back. We've got left back, right back, centre back, DM, centre mid, 2 strikers, left wing.
A whole team.
We've got basically got another team. Yeah. There's probably someone else in that, but they ain't playing.
Okay, cool.
I don't think I've left anyone else. Anyway, Lovren, I think is an amazing buy.
Okay.
I think he's brilliant. I think he's starting to see. The problem is with Lovren is we haven't got someone to play with him. If we had 2 of him, they'd be brilliant.
Mm-hmm.
He reads. The only problem at the moment I've seen him in the first few games is he's a bit over keen. He's trying to win absolutely everything, but in both games he's made this challenge. In both games he's done really well. Lallana's been injured. Lambert's just going to come off the bench and do bits and bobs. He's come off the bench against Southampton and made a difference. Balotelli, don't know. Could be a great signing. I think he's a very talented player. My favourite,
Mr. Hat-trick of sitters.
Yeah, my favourite quote of Brendan Rodgers this week was, he pointed out to Mario Balotelli and said, "This is who you're picking up on corners." To which Mario Balotelli replied, "I don't mark on corners." so Brendan Rodgers replied, "Well, you do now." So that's So you don't know. I think Adam Lallana will be a great buy. I absolutely love Alberto Moreno on the left back. He was
even
so
after
good.
his horrendous display against City.
It wasn't. I don't think it was that. The problem
wasn't horrendous. It was just.
It was just.
He was at fault for 2 goals.
He was it was his first game in the Premier League. It was away to City. It's a difficult game, and the reason I love him is not because his defensive ability. He is unbelievably attacking player, and he's just so quick. Like, he's so fast, and he's so good running with the ball, and he just fits into our system well. I'm excited. I'm really excited about him just because we haven't had a decent left back in ever.
Well, Enrique was okay.
For a year, but we haven't had a young one where we've said we could see he will be in the team for a long time to come, and that's what we need at the back. Lovren will be in the team for a long time to come. Saka and Skirtle will be.
There's no reason to think Saka's going to go anywhere.
They'll come back and forth, and right back. If that retard Glenn Johnson don't play, then I'm happy with 2 young guys. Manquillo looks decent enough, and Flanagan was good last year, so give them guys a chance to sell Glenn Johnson, to send him back to Portsmouth, League 2 football, that'll suit him.
You sold Kelly, didn't you?
Sol Kelly, yeah, he was one of those players that's good, but getting too old to be young and promising.
Yeah.
We've done well on the loans out. We loaned people that aren't going to play. Barini, don't know why he didn't leave.
What happened with that young Spanish kid that you had a few years ago?
Suso.
Yeah, was he?
He's back.
Is he?
Yeah, he's back. Yeah, he went out on loan, done all right, come back. Scored 3 goals in pre-season. But
Suazo.
he won't get into the club, into the starting lineup.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to think if I've missed any. No. Emre Can looks like a decent DM. He won't. He'll be the new Lucas, because Lucas is running out of steam a bit.
Chan, who's that guy with the long hair that you brought on
Markovic.
towards the end? Yeah, he was alright. He's quite
For
quick.
City. We get City. Yeah, brilliant against City. He is. He's
created a few chances immediately, and if you put them away, you were right.
Well, Lambert should have scored.
Yeah.
He's a really bright young talent. He's been weaned in at the moment. He come on again against. Who did we play at the weekend? Whoever we played at the weekend.
You played against Tottenham.
Yeah, beat 3-0. Yeah, he came on against them. Didn't do as much, but did well. Yeah, I'm quietly confident. I mean, our bench. We've got a worse starting 11, but a much better team. That's how I put it.
Yeah, because obviously we missed out a major talking point of the summer activity was the big exit.
Yeah, Luis Suarez, but at the end of the day, we sat here, both of us, and said if we're honest, we think he's going to go. And he just bit someone else at the World Cup.
Which was strange, because I don't think many people, this shows the level of insight that you get from ArsenPool. Because I don't think there were many people at that period last year saying Suarez is going this summer, and we both said we think he'll go. Because it's
just the way he is, and like Steven Gerrard's since come out and said he thinks he manoeuvred, just got himself a move because that's what he wanted to do.
And it now seems more clear that the whole
Mrs. is from Barcelona, family from Barcelona, pussy whipped. That's the reason.
It makes sense now.
Why Barini not leaving? Because his missus is from Liverpool.
Yeah.
Pussy whip.
Really? Or he just likes the money at Liverpool?
No, because I'm pretty sure Sunderland will. He can't be on that much at Liverpool because we bought him.
Sunderland probably can match it.
Yeah, he's probably like, Mrs. wants to stay in Liverpool. Got a nice house.
Nice.
I'm
going nowhere.
Don't like it up there.
I like money. I like my wife. I prefer that than actually playing.
Yeah, probably.
What was I say? It makes sense, the whole contract renewal, doesn't it, in January with Suarez, that it was more about protecting Liverpool than any commitment of faith that Suarez
Well, I think
it was about protecting the club so you were able to get a big fee for it.
Yeah, I reckon there was a conversation with Suarez. Basically, there must have been saying, we're going to renew your contract. For you staying, it doesn't change anything between now and when your contract's renewed. It just means the only positive is you're going to get paid more and we're going to get more money for you.
Exactly.
So it'll work both ways.
It would have been, we want you to stay. We've got Champions League, but if one of the big boys comes in for you
with loads of money,
you can go.
Yeah, nothing else.
Which is the way it seemed to have happened.
But overall, I am extremely pleased. We've done what we needed to do, which is buy players,
investing in the squad,
and I think, I think we've Brendan Rodgers has brought well. They all won't go on to play 2, 3, 4 years at Liverpool. I can. But
that's the way you build.
That's the way you. I think we'll have.
The only problem is if any turn out terrible.
Yeah, we've got young players that I think are good enough that we won't lose money on them, and we've got some that if they go, we'll earn money on them. I'm convinced that a few players that we've brought in will, especially some of the foreign guys, will if they get too good, we'll just go, but we'll make money on them.
But it's an approach that I wish that Arsenal would have taken in the transfer window.
So
I listened to a very, very interesting thing this morning. It was a big podcast, and there was a guy from the Arsenal Supporters Trust, a guy called Tim Payton, and he made an incredibly, insightful comment about how it's actually less practical to be more reserved and more cautious in the transfer window in terms of your spending, because if you invest your money into the assets, into the players, you're gonna make more money than you would if you leave the money in the bank, because the cost of players is rising quicker than inflation.
Yeah.
So within the season, Angel Di Maria goes from a 30 million to a 60 million player. So if you invest, if you buy players wisely, even if they don't work out, you can sell them on for probably at least break even, because the rate of how quick the rate of how quick players' prices are going up.
Yeah.
So keep just being reserved in the transfer window and saving money actually isn't even a practical solution. You're not going to make as much money as you would if you bought. So my analysis on our transfer window, so it goes with, we began very brightly in bringing in Sanchez. He was the first confirmed signing, although Debuchy was apparently done and dusted before Sanchez. But then we had Debuchy, and then we had Chambers very quickly after Debuchy, followed by Ospina, followed by Danny Welbeck on transfer deadline day. I'm disappointed. I'm not going to lie. I'm disappointed with the transfer window. I'm not necessarily disappointed with the players that we brought in. I'm not saying that I don't. I like all five. I think all five will do well for the club. I don't think any of them are going to be flop. I think already Sanchez has proven that he's got lots of quality. I think Debuchy has already proven that he's got more to add to the team than Sagna did, potentially. I think Captain Chambers is the best defensive prospect that we've had in the club in a long time.
Yeah, definitely.
Really better potential than Gibbs had at his age. He's got more potential than Jenkinson. So I'm happy with that. David Ospina is an upgrade on Fabianski. I think he could potentially be an upgrade on Szczesny. I think if Szczesny gets an injury and Ospina gets a run in the team, I think it might be very hard to take him out of that. I think he could easily take the number 1 jersey, and I think Danny Welbeck has got the potential to take
Arsenal's.
Well, I think
Daniel Sturridge.
Well, yeah, I think he can take that role. There's a gaping hole at centre forward that needs a natural centre forward to go, and he's just got to take that opportunity. And he's got players around him that can put chances. So all he needs to do is just put the ball in the back of the net. I know that seems it's the easiest thing in the world to say, but if he can just take that opportunity by the scruff of the neck, then wicked. I'm happy with that. I don't have a problem with the signings. What I have a problem with is the way we went about our business. It's completely bonkers. If we contrast this to the way Liverpool did their business, Rodgers went, these are all these positions that I need to invest in. I don't necessarily need to invest in them in terms of the first 11, but I need to go out and get these players. A couple that will go straight in, such as full-backs. And potentially someone to go up alongside to replace Suarez.
Yeah.
But Sturridge can sort of do that, so you need someone in that front three that can perhaps fill that hole. And then you don't look at any of those buys and go, what the fuck do they buy him for? And you don't look at any at the end of the window. You don't go with Liverpool. Oh, there's a big hole here that we didn't fill.
No.
With Arsenal, there wasn't even that much to do in the transfer window. It was quite simple. It was, we've got to replace whoever leaves. So we knew we were going to leave we knew we were going to lose Fabianski. We knew we were going to lose Sagna. So 2 objectives: replace right back, replace goalkeeper. We knew that there was an agreement, in a spoken agreement between Wenger and Vermaelen that he'd let him leave in the summer because he wasn't playing anymore. So if you're going to let him go, you've got to have a replacement. What kind of bonkers man in charge of a club lets their captain go and not have a replacement ready?
Yeah,
just mental, absolutely mental. He let Vermaelen go with nothing in place. If he's under contract, if he didn't have to go, right? And there was no, there was offers coming in, but he's under contract. If you don't have someone ready for him, you keep him. You keep that guy in case in case all of our centre backs get injured.
Too nice, isn't it?
You don't get to the end and then get to the end of the transfer and go, oh fuck, we didn't find anyone. You keep him, and like the way Manchester United held us out with Welbeck until they knew Falcao was definitely going to pass his medical, and then they let it go through because they didn't. Welbeck became surplus.
Yeah.
When if we had a replacement, someone they're saying, right, here you go, here's Ronald Vlaar.
Yeah.
You can sign here. Right, just as you're about to sign, off you go then, Vermaelen. You can go now.
Yeah.
Done. You're covered then. You covered your arse then. What are we doing there? And the other, so what I would have said is they were the things that you had to do that had to be put in place because we were losing players. But we didn't win the league last year. We came 4th, so we needed something in place in order to advance, to progress. We needed to improve in certain areas, and the 2 areas that we definitely needed to improve is defensive midfield, someone who's more mobile, more athletic, more strong than Arteta, and someone who's more clinical than Giroud, a striker and a defensive midfielder. And then there's if we had something else there that we could improve on, it was pace up front, because last year we were too static. So we go out and buy. The first things first, we buy Alexis Sanchez, which should have been. It's a great buy. If he's available, as a world-class player, you buy him. But he was the one that you wanted after everything else. You've got all of your main bits done. We need a defensive midfielder. We need a striker. They're the things that we need to improve. If we can get a Sanchez or a Marco Reus or something like that, yeah, go for it. Wicked. Yeah. That's brilliant. But we didn't need that just then. We replaced Sanya, we replaced Debussy, fine. And then Callum Chambers is an odd one. He comes in, but actually he came in as soon as Jenkinson left. So it was like, well, that's quite simple. Jenkinson's been at the club for a few years. He needs to go play regular football. Chambers, you can come in and be what Jenkinson was, and you can just deputise when it's possible, because you're younger than Jenkinson. That's fine, like for like.
Yeah.
And then suddenly it's like, well, actually, no, Chambers is Vermaelen's replacement. You go, no, whoa. Yeah. He's 19, and he's played now that the season's begun, he's played 3 or 4 times at centre back in his career. And if you've got a 19-year-old, he's going to make mistakes. It's just inevitable. You can't say he's not going to make mistakes, and he's going to make mistakes. And when you're at centre-back, mistakes that you make cost you goals. And at this level, goals cost you points. If you want him to go make his mistakes, make him against the lower teams when you can bring him in cups and stuff like that. And then hopefully it won't be too costly. Not when you've got him playing against, decent opposition, when we had Champions League football on the line, for example, and he made a mistake that Bar scuffed.
Yeah.
And that could have cost us Champions League football. So suddenly he's the choice there. We don't buy a defensive midfielder. We don't buy an improvement on Giroud. And we leave that gaping hole in defence. So we don't address the 2 main areas for improvement, as far as I'm concerned. And then we gave ourselves another problem because we didn't replace Vermaelen. So we're short at the back. We have 6 players to cover 4 positions at the back.
Which is very light, isn't it?
It's a joke.
Yeah.
And then Danny Welbeck, although he has the potential to be an improvement on Giroud, he also has the potential to be as average as he was at United, which means it's a sidestep. It's just as we're not moved forward.
You need to buy someone, but
Do you know how much money we had left over? About 40-50 million.
Well, I kind of think that your transfers are kind of a year behind where they could have been if you bought players in.
Yeah, why didn't we bring them in last year?
Yeah, there's no reason why, and I just think with a team like Arsenal, people are going to come to Arsenal. There's loads of different factors why they go to Arsenal. Constant Champions League football. People like Arsenal, players like Arsene Wenger because they like his reputation. Most players who want to come to England would like to play in London. Being in London's a big plus point.
Big plus.
Big stadium. There's loads of things.
And we have another added component now, that young English talent want to come and play and be part of that young English core. So Danny Welbeck, I saw his first interview for Arsenal today, and this must be a guy, born and bred Manchester, born in Greater Manchester, gone through their youth system. He must have grown up to detest Arsenal.
Yeah.
And you see him in his first interview, and he has got a genuine big smile on his face. Like, he is quite happy to be there.
I genuinely believe he's a step up in his career, because that's what he.
Well, that's what he'll feel. Yeah, he'll feel like, I'm going to be playing here for a decent Champions League side, and I'm going to actually get to play at centre forward.
Yeah.
And could potentially be first choice. The thing is, I'm not going to say it was a disaster of a transfer window, because you brought in 5 players. We spent net amount, like 90 million or something, 70 million, somewhere between 70 and 90 million, which is a lot for Arsenal.
Yeah.
But it's mad. It's just no planning. There's no strategy in place. What does our manager do? What does he? Why doesn't he just sit down and go, "This is what we need to do. Let's do it." There's just no planning. We got Danny Welbeck at 1:30, whatever it was. I think it finally came through at 1:30. No, that was Falco. It was at 11:30. It was announced on transfer deadline day, because we had to have an extension. That doesn't display planning.
No.
That means to me that if it wasn't for Giroud's injury, we weren't bringing in a striker at all. I just think, it's just complete incompetence, and it borders on negligence, which frustrates me. And as a result of this summer's transfer window, I can see us getting 3rd at best. Oh, sorry, no. We'll come back to that for our predictions for the season. But I think I'd say it was a mediocre transfer window. Despite, and we brought in the least amount of players of the entire Premier League.
Well, yeah. I
I
mean,
can't be right. Surely that can't be right. Chelsea didn't bring in 5.
No, I think you. I just think you're a year behind of where you could be, and quality players will come. What you've said at the beginning makes complete sense. I think Arsenal's still maybe plodding along in the transfer market 5 years ago, where you bought players and they depreciated in value as soon as you bought them, like new cars, because they were going for so much. It's not like that anymore. You buy a player, you can sell them for more. Like I said, I think Liverpool bought players that we could sell them for the same amount, if not more, regardless. And there's plenty of players like that about.
There's more lost in indecision than wrong decision in the current market.
Yeah.
If you've got a little bit of know-how about who you're buying, what their age is, what sort of reputation they've got, who they've played for, and what then the potential they have, then not buying could be worse financially than buying.
Yeah. So
even if they don't make an impact on your team.
Definitely.
And I know he has this whole philosophy about squad, the squad mentality and stuff, and you don't want to bring players in just for the sake of it and stuff. But you've got to look at the glaring holes and go 6 players for 50 fucking games at the back.
Yeah.
I mean, how does that work? Your deputy for your centre back is a 19-year-old with 4 games experience as centre back. It's on eggshells.
Yeah. I mean, he could turn out. I think he's a fantastic buy, but for the future, I think if he's going to be playing all your Champions League games and all your Premier League games,
what does it
might become difficult.
What does it do to a young person's development if he has to play one of those games and he loses us a massive game?
Yeah.
What does that do to him? He's the one who sits there and in all his interviews goes, "I'm not sure Roy Hodgson should call him up for England because I'm worried about him psychologically." You've put a far bigger psychological burden on that player by saying you've just replaced Thomas Vermaelen, a 29-year-old internationally capped captain of Arsenal. Was he a captain at Ajax? I don't know. He was a very decent, a respected player at Ajax. He's just a walking contradiction. He just completely contradicts himself.
I know managers like that.
Right. Should we do predictions?
Yeah, go on.
Right, best buy. Let's say, who's your best buy?
It's difficult. It's difficult. So I think they're all. I think most of them are good. Best buy. I mean, if I would have at the beginning of the transfer window, I would have Adam Lallana but I haven't seen him play yet because he's been injured. He might still be a very good buy. I think Lovren because we let in so many goals last year, and he will be our centre back for the next 2, 3, 4, 5. He's not been at our team for a prolonged period of time, and he's just taken to Liverpool straight away. He was only at Southampton for a year. When they played against him, when he played against them, he was booed. He doesn't give a crap about Southampton anymore. I think we needed a defender because Sacco and Skirtle are both good individually, but we needed a leader at the back. Yeah. Daniel Agger was a leader at the back, but he didn't quite have the ability. A bit like Vermaelen for us. So I think Lovren's got the ability, and I think he will have the leadership. I think in the long run he'll be the best buy. I don't think he would be best this year, but I think he'll be the best buy when you look back on the players.
Good.
How about worst buy? I'm going to go worst buy.
Worst buy.
Again, that's a difficult one, but I think our worst buy is Emre Can. I think he's a good player, but I don't think he's going to play that much. I think he's going to go in January. Maybe not January, but he's just come from Bayer Leverkusen where he's playing Champions League football, being a starter. Now he's like 6th choice in the middle for 10 minutes. He's a good player, and we need squad players, but he's going to get to a point where he goes, I don't want to be a squad player. I might as well go play back in Germany for a mediocre team and just play all the time. So I reckon he'll be the worst buy. I don't reckon he'll hang around. He's not good enough to be in our starting 11, but he's good. Do you know what I mean? But he's not good enough to hang around. He could go play for a European team elsewhere and play Europa
League or something.
Best buy for you?
Sanchez has to be.
It's difficult with your worst buy.
I don't really. This is where it all sounds a bit strange. I don't think we made a bad buy. You couldn't be happier with the 5 we bought, but you can arguably say, I'd have sacrificed Sanchez for Cavani, or a big improvement on Giroud, who can actually definitively play at centre forward. and a Khedira or a Khedira, do you know what I mean? Or someone who could Khedira or Lars Bender. So I don't know. I can't say who I think. Who do I think will be the worst signing? I just think maybe Ospina because he probably of the five. I think he's got he's the most likely to play the least.
Yeah.
Even though I still think he could be the number one goalkeeper. I've got good feelings about Danny Welbeck. Let's do this quickly. Danny Welbeck or Mario Balotelli? Who would you have gone for if you had the choice?
Mario Balotelli, the only reason I say that is because he's different to Daniel Sturridge. I think Daniel Sturridge and Danny Welbeck are... Balotelli, I don't know where he plays half the time. He just wanders around. And I don't think teams really like that. And I think he'll take to the Premier League. I just think he's got so much talent.
Yeah.
And I think Brendan Rodgers is one of the few managers that will be able to get most of that talent out of him.
Fair enough.
But saying that, I think Balotelli for Liverpool, but Welbeck for Arsenal. I don't think Balotelli. So
it's one of those weird ones.
I think if Balotelli went to Arsenal, I don't think Wenger would have had a strong enough reign on him. I think he would have gone absolutely fucking mental. Yeah, he'd have been in Camden Town, sniffing cocaine out of strippers' arseholes until early mornings. But then love to Liverpool. What's he doing?
See, I probably would have gone Balotelli for the price that he was available for.
Oh, for £16 million,
he's worth the gamble. I think sort of Danny Welbeck is about a £16 million player, probably in the current market of English striker.
Yeah.
When you think Long went for 12 million,
or 14, yeah.
You know, Danny Welbeck for 16 isn't bad for a 23-year-old England international with a lot of potential and, you know, Champions League experience, Premier League medal. And I think Mario Balotelli is probably about a 25 to 30 million pound striker who was bought at 16 because he's mad.
Yeah.
And he certainly comes with all this baggage. What Danny Welbeck lacks in talent that Balotelli has, he makes up for in effort and athleticism. You know, he's going to try harder. I think he'll be better when the going gets tough. And I'm not sure who's better as a natural finisher, but I probably would have gone with Balotelli because I think he has world-class potential. You never know. I don't think Danny Welbeck does. I think he probably has, you know, top Premier League class potential, but he needs to fulfil that.
Yeah.
So there you go. That was interesting. Right, so let's do predictions for the season. You want to go first?
Yeah. It's chopped and changed as teams buy players in. You know, top four is between 5 teams. I don't care what you say. Tottenham aren't going to get there.
What about Everton?
Get there. I don't know about Everton. They just let in so many goals. Even and they just choke. They haven't got. And Roberto Martinez is a decent manager, but he's never been able to. They haven't got the announce to shut up shop, and they're not going to outscore teams that score lots of goals.
Yeah.
So I think they'll do really well against some of the top teams. They'll do really well against the average teams, but they won't have enough to get across the line. Tottenham will do really well, but again, they don't have the quality to draw them against the line. They'll be fifth. They'll be 6th and 7th.
Yeah, and there's 5 fighting out for the top 4.
I think Man United now because they're buys, but Man United remind me of someone who goes to the gym but skips leg day.
That's me.
Yeah, they just they bought world class players, but whether they've not got, I don't know where they're going to fit them all. That's not my job. But
see, if I was doing that analogy, the legs would be the strikers,
would they?
And say the chest would be the defence.
So someone who goes to the gym
but only does leg day.
Yeah, well, that'd be weird, wouldn't it?
And massive legs.
Massive legs.
And the tiny sort of chicken body.
Right. Okay.
Go on. Let's just say because we'll come back at the end of the season and say where do you think you'll finish?
I think we'll finish 4th.
Really?
And I would be happy with that.
Right, and I'm going to say where I think Liverpool finish then.
Go on.
I think you'll finish 2nd.
2nd?
Again.
Right. But do you know why I think we'll finish 4th?
Yeah.
I think come the last 5 games of the season, there'll be 4 teams that at the top that can still finish. Maybe not top. There'll probably be Chelsea. I think Chelsea are going to run away with it this year, if I'm honest. But I think there'll be very few difference between 4th and 2nd.
Mm-hmm.
Very few points. Because I don't see. It's much more difficult to judge. I think this year than last year.
I think there'll be somewhat of a role reversal with Liverpool and Arsenal this year. I think, I don't think this will happen. I think if Arsenal are going to have any sort of title chase, I think it will come in the latter part of the season, like Liverpool did last year. Liverpool, come Christmas, everyone was sort of going, if Liverpool get fourth, that'll be good. And then suddenly they really clicked around February. And they went on this awesome run, or sort of late January, went on this awesome run, right the way through to the last few games. Winning, what did they win, like 15 games on the trot or something bizarre. I think there's the potential for that sort of thing to happen, because I don't think Arsenal are clicking at all. I think if we can stay somewhere in around the top 4, top 3 by Christmas, then I think there's a possibility that we could click. But I think Liverpool will do what Arsenal did last year and be more around the top 2 throughout the whole season. I think you'll finish second, and so there you go. I think you'll finish second. I think Chelsea will win it. I think City will come third. My prediction for Arsenal then is that I think we will. I think, as I said, there's a potential that we could run away. If I'm going to go say, I think we'll finish 4th, right. And I think United will finish 5th. I think it's going to be such an interesting season. I genuinely think there is. I think it's practical to think that we'll finish somewhere between 3rd and 5th. I don't think we've got enough in us to finish above 3rd. I think this is the first year in a long time where, very realistically, we could finish 5th. Even though we've always been, we've had a period where it looks like it's possible. Whereas I think this year it would not be a surprise to me if we finished 5th despite the investment.
I think that's come down to, especially Liverpool coming back into it, because before Liverpool have had to have a really good season to finish 4th, and now I think we just need a good season to finish 4th.
I think Man United will be very, very dangerous. It's very, very hard to call. If I'm going to have to say it, I think we'll finish 4th.
But well, we both think we're.
I'm hoping, from what I see and the investment we've made in the squad, I don't know how we can get any better than 3rd. But you never know. It could all just click into place at some point, and I think it could take a while. But at some point, if Wenger can put the players in the right positions, because at the moment I think we have a squad that can win the league. I know that might get laughed out of the room, but I think if they were under management or a manager that got them all playing at the complete optimum of their potential and played in a system where we can adapt according to the opposition, and we can scrape points against the top boys, and the odd point here and there rather than getting wiped the floor with, then we have a shot, because I think there's enough potential in there, and there's enough world-class players in there to actually get us over the line. Under Wenger, we won't do that this year, because already he's doing bizarre things. He's already, why the hell is Ozil playing left wing? Why have we suddenly changed our formation a little bit? It's not the same as last year, where we have sort of 2 anchoring players that play alongside each other, and then a guy in the middle, and then they sort of pivot with the wide players. Now we've got Ozil playing out wide, and him and Cazorla have bizarrely changed roles.
Yeah, it's a bit weird.
Chamberlain sort of playing a bit on the right, but he sort of plays a bit in the middle, and no one really knows what they're doing. Sanchez has played in centre forward and out right. Wenger said, "I bought him as a winger," and then he played a game up front. He went, "I bought him as a striker." And then the next time he played him as a winger. He doesn't It's just there doesn't appear to be a plan in place, and we did so. And Ramsey's not looking great so far this season. He looks like he might believe a bit of his own hype, and he's sort of forgot the thing that made him good last year was simplicity and a knack for getting in the end of crosses and scoring goals and stuff like that. So hopefully you never know. If we just get it all into place, it might all click, and you never know, we might have a run at the end. But I think we will finish 4th. Realistically, we could finish 5th. So, what do you think for Arsenal?
I think Arsenal will finish. I don't know. It depends how good United are. You could finish 3rd, 4th, or 5th. I couldn't tell you which one. If I had to say,
we have to say, because we're
going to
go.
Well, I'm going to say 3rd then, because I just don't think. I just think you'll be too good against the worst. You'll pick up too many points.
Yeah, we look pretty good against Leicester.
Yeah, but new boys, aren't they? No one likes Leicester, but I don't know. I still think.
The spirit of Lineker.
Yeah, I still think you'll he'll pick up enough points against the big guys. And I think Danny Welbeck will score 15 between 15 goals this season if he starts, and I think he'll be good for you.
So you think Liverpool 4th, Arsenal 3rd. I think Arsenal 4th, Liverpool 2nd.
Yeah.
So we'll come back to that at the end of the season and see how true our predictions were. Quick little mutual hatred of Manchester United section, and then we're out.
Yeah.
What the fuck is going on there? Should we go with Manchester United have lost their identity?
Well,
what do we think of that?
I don't really care because at the end of the day, they were talking about all the youth players. Danny Welbeck's going and they're interviewing people like David Beckham. What do you think about that? Oh, it's a sad day when they're letting their Manchester.
Well, when Tom Cleverley and
but
Danny Welbeck
at the end of the day,
day,
things change. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you've got a youth team that's got Ryan Giggs, David Beckham, Paul Scholes, and the Neville brothers and people like that in it, fantastic, carry on doing that.
Yeah.
But if you haven't and they're shit, don't keep playing them just for the sake of it. They've had to go out and they've had to. How much have they spent this year?
Close to 200 million.
Like
about 180 million.
If they don't finish in the Champions League this season, they're fucked.
Well, they are. Basically, they are fucked because they said a lot of this is investment. Like the Falcao deal is basically an investment that relies on them getting Champions League this year.
Well,
which I don't think is a foregone conclusion because despite all the players they've brought in, that Man United have never done this before, where they've just gone out and gone, new team.
Yeah, no, I think it'll take long, and they can't play them all together. And the people that they have brought, I don't think they've got the strength at the back anyway to cope against some of the big teams.
And I think they're going to drop too many points. They'll drop too many points before they abandon the 3-5-2.
Yeah.
Like Liverpool did last year and like City did last year.
Yeah.
Remember those two bright ideas for the 3-5-2s? You both dropped loads of points, gave it up.
Yeah.
And well, I mean, City were managed to have the quality to do it, but it's taken a while for City. It took how many City? I mean, 3-4 years. It was about 3 years before City won the league after their huge investment of money. It took Chelsea 2, maybe 3. But you remember at these times, when City did that, Liverpool had already dropped away, so there was less competition up there. This is the era Arsenal where Man United have really gone out and said, well, this is basically a new team we're going to play with now, and there's a lot in the way of them, getting into that. There's a lot of teams that are going to be competing for those spots.
There's a lot of pressure. You can always see the pressure on Lou Van Gaal. He's like, there's no doubt about it. He's been told how important it is for them to get Champions League football, and that'll portray on the players. And if they don't get it, there's no. Don't worry, you can finish 5th this year. You've spent £200 million.
Yeah.
You bloody do well.
Yeah.
Or you're out.
Yeah, or you're out. But the implications could be quite strong because I don't think they can do this.
If they don't, not only if they don't win the league, if they don't challenge for the if not challenging for the title. If they don't get Champions League this season, I think we're in the end of the Manchester United as we know it for quite a long period of time. This is a very pivotal season. If they come on, finish 2nd, 3rd, whatever, get Champions League final, have a really good season, there'll be, because the players they've brought in this year, there'll be an influx of good players that want to come to them and they'll be back to their best.
Yeah.
If they don't, they'll be fucked.
It's a big one.
So I'm hoping
because they won't be.
Falco breaks his leg again, or whatever he did last time.
Yeah, I mean he is a good player.
Di Maria is decent, but I don't think he's going to cut in the Premier League. Loses the ball an awful lot. He can do fantastic. He can win you and lose your game.
And I don't want any more of this crap about United. The United arrogance. All right, and all this. I'm sorry. For me now, you're Chelsea and you're City. You've got the same feel as those teams now. Where money is no object. And you are, a scummy sort of fraudulent team buying players, with backhand deals with where in Monaco they're paying your player so he can have his tax-free wages, and it's all a deal. It's a loan deal now, and then it's 45 million into the season to not break any rules and stuff like that. You can't sit there and slate Manchester City for the way that their club is run when you've just done the same thing. Effectively. I still don't like them.
I fucking hate them. And I hate people.
And I really want them to fail, and I really want them to fail while Rooney's captain. And I love the fact that Robin Van Persie is now on the bench.
Yeah, I love
He's
the
now
fact
a
that
bench.
Wayne Rooney has got a clause in the contract where he has to be the highest paid player, and Falco's on more than him, so now Rooney's got to get paid more.
I've seen these ideas in the papers and stuff about their new lineup where Robin Van Persie plays on the wing. or a wing forward. It's like no. He's 32 nearly. He can only play at centre forward now. He don't have the legs anymore for this.
Well, they apparently in the papers, Van Persie said Van has to fight for his position. Nah, you're out.
Yeah, you're out. You don't spend.
You should have scored at the weekend.
You don't spend that money, and then put him on the bench.
Yeah.
It's a great player to have off the bench.
Yeah.
But I hope you never win anything again, and I hope you regret your decision. You dirty fucking skunk. Right then. So we'll be back throughout the season. Hopefully, more frequently.
Yeah.
Ta-ra.
Bye.